say, oh, we on different sides of the streets and things like that, it's true. Like, me and Terrence Crawford on different sides of the streets. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a way better fighter than Terrence Crawford. Who has he fought?
With Errol Spence jumping out the window, claiming he wants the Fundora fight, a lot of people are asking the question, what's up with the rematch? What's up with his rematch with Terrence Crawford? And indirectly, what Errol Spence is telling people is that he don't believe that he can beat Crawford. That's all there is left to really say about it. Because once you think about it, when the fight happened between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford beat Errol Spence, the excuses came out of the woodworks. Errol Spence wasn't himself. Errol Spence looked high during the walkout. Errol Spence was suffering from a broken rib. Errol Spence needed a tune-up. Errol Spence, I mean, we heard all the excuses. So what does that tell you? The fact that he's not trying to revisit something that they created so many excuses for. It just tells you that all the excuses that they gave for the reason for Terrence Crawford dominance over Errol Spence was BS. That's basically what everybody's telling you. It's BS. Because he had ample time. See, this is the thing about Crawford. You want to notice one thing about Crawford? When Crawford got done beating Spence, he was back in the gym, 3 days later? A day later? Or something like that? The point is, every time you look up, you can catch Terrence Crawford in the gym. Whether he has a fight or not, he's always working. If Errol Spence was sincere about rectifying that wrong, we would have seen the same thing during this whole silent period. You just would have seen Errol Spence working. You know, he could have put a post up that just said redemption. You know what I'm saying? The boxing world would have went crazy just off that alone. So if they were serious about what they said, number one, they should want him to revisit that. And if he was sincere about what he could do and how he could go about changing the tide, you would have seen him do it because he had ample opportunity to do it. Except we haven't heard nothing from Errol Spence, and we did hear something from Errol Spence. It's him hopping out the window, trying to jump the line in front of Terrence Crawford to fight Fundora. What's up with your rematch? The fact that he hasn't brought it up, the fact that he isn't talking about it, the fact that he's not even trying to go that way, it tells you everything. It had nothing to do with my eye. It had nothing to do with a so-called bruised rib. It had nothing to do with me looking intoxicated before the fight. It had nothing to do with none of that. I just flat out couldn't beat the man. Now you understand why I avoided him so much and why my team wanted me to avoid him so much. Because if all those excuses held any kind of weight, he would go right back to Terrence Crawford and show what he really can do. Or at least show that he could put up a better fight than that. And he has no interest in that. Why wouldn't he have any interest in that? He'll definitely make more money fighting Crawford than anybody else. Yes, no? So why would you go for a lesser fight if the end game is the honeypot? You know what I'm saying? The money. If that's the case, you know what the first fight did? Y'all could do better on the second fight. And that fight did well, and they barely promoted it like they were supposed to. So if it was really about rectifying a wrong, if it's really about making the biggest fight that you can make, you'd be going towards Terrence Crawford. You wouldn't be talking about nothing else. So what he's telling you indirectly is, I cannot beat this man. And by his fans not pressing him for a rematch, it also says, we know that you can't beat this man. This is why they're looking for Jerron Boots Ennis to do something that Errol Spence couldn't do. But Errol Spence is supposedly a better fighter than Jerron Boots Ennis. Once again, it doesn't make no sense. You see how they hopped on Jerron Boots Ennis and then hopped right back off. You know, so all he's saying is, in a nutshell, is I can't beat the man. Because if you could beat the man, with him being the big fish, the gladiator, the ex-boogeyman, you know what I'm saying, the truth, so to speak, the truth would want to go rectify that. All of the greats tried to avenge their losses. This is something that we say about with Canelo and with Errol Spence. All the people who had that real live pedigree, they tried to right that wrong. Lennox Lewis, you know what I'm saying? All of them, they came back and they revisited, you know? They went down, seen Emmanuel, came back to be dominant. I haven't seen Errol Spence take up that kind of position yet, and I don't think he looks to take up that kind of position. But most importantly, if he felt he could, he wouldn't be talking about nobody else, because he would want the status that Terrence Crawford got, the #1 pound for pound spot that Terrence Crawford got, and he would like to steal his juice back that Terrence Crawford got. On top of that, it's another big payday for you, you know, and it seems to be all about the money if you was chasing Canelo Alvarez. So at the end of the day, you stood in front of the entire world and said that you are a way better fighter than Terrence Crawford. Then you go on to name why you are a better fighter than Terrence Crawford. Simply, you know, summing it up to resumes and stuff like that. But when you got in there with Terrence Crawford, none of that, what you were talking about, is present. So the question that we need to ask, was Errol Spence just drunk? Was he just talking? Or did he know all along that he couldn't beat Crawford?
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a way better fighter than Terrence Crawford. Who has he fought? The only name fight you fight is York's game boy, the guy that he fought.
Which one is it? It could be a myriad of excuses. But one thing is for sure, he has yet to show what he said in this video. And I would think somebody being nicknamed The Truth would like to prove that that's what they were speaking when they were up on that podium. And they would like to know that it's something that came from your ambition and not just liquid courage. That's my thoughts on this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out.
Through a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors with him. And that's how it is with Terrence Crawford.